Hi, I'm Carina, and I'm an earth sheep.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I'm a metal monkey.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and I am a metal rooster.
And
Metal
if you
rooster.
don't know what we're referring to, this is our Chinese zodiac episode. I'm so excited as
The
the
resident Chinese
yeah,
person.
the resident Chinese person, which is really funny because so my mom's Chinese, but she's from Malaysia, but we're all ethnically Chinese. And she used to make fun of the zodiacs. She's like, these are not true, da 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 da. And but it's so funny because we still always looked them up at Chinese New
Yeah.
Year, and we always had our red envelopes at Chinese New Year. And this year, Chinese New Year, if anybody wants to celebrate it, is February 17th. So it's coming up and
Ooh.
it's going to be super fun. Well, I mean, if you celebrate it, we celebrate it at our house. We make fried wontons, rice, a whole bunch of stir fries, all kind of Americanized because that's the way my mom did it for us. Because I really dislike like moon cakes, and there are like certain things that I just don't do very well with. But
Tell us what
growing
a
up,
mooncake is.
I don't really know, but disgusting. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, really? That's a
Every
strong line to
it
take.
really was bad. Like my mom would have us because you think it's gonna be a cake, but
Hmm.
it's not. It's and I can't even remember, but it's like there's a gooey, weird middle. Sometimes there's like an egg in the middle, like an egg yolk. And
Oh.
it's just every time I've had it, I'm like, I don't like. There's just like a list of things I won't eat. My
Hmm.
mom had a drawer in our house in the refrigerator that was like the kids never touch that drawer because like we were so afraid of what was in it. It was like a baby octopus and some bean curd and like, some weird stuff. So you just don't go into the Chinese drawer. So
Okay, good to know. I feel like the drawer at your house is probably just full of vibrators and stuff. Can I say that I had to
That's
make
mommy's
sure
drawer.
that's mommy's drawer. Like that was something I feel like I needed a checklist because when the cleaners would come, you need to put that stuff away. I actually kept my stuff in a Veuve Clicquot box. Very chic, very chic. But you have to make sure to kind of put that away, tuck it away, because when you live alone, you don't have to bother putting it away. Certainly, we don't have kids around. Um, but you have to, it's the polite thing to do is to hide your sex toys from the people who clean your home.
I don't. Mine know exactly where it is.
Do the people who clean your home know
Oh,
exactly where it is?
totally. Because it's the first drawer in my house, in my bedroom, and it's always slightly open because it has like all these other things. And I know my cleaners know exactly what's happening in that drawer.
And in your bed.
Poor cleaners. I love them so much, actually.
I
Okay,
know, maybe start closing the drawer. Jeez.
listen, they're cleaning. Uh, Whatever, it's fine. It's human, right? I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, let's move on to this Chinese stuff because we looked up this coming year is a fire horse year. And most people on the zodiacs, they only do like the animal, but you can be one of five things. You can be wood, earth, water, metal, or fire. So those are the five elements. And my mom and I are both sheep, but she's like, I think a water sheep and I'm an earth sheep. And it made a lot more sense to me when I read our diagnostics because we're both like super creative, but my mom is really different than me. And so we have like the sheep's creativity, but a lot of the other attributes are actually a little different. So, did you guys find that when you looked up I guess you didn't have anything to compare it to. So, do we have chat GBTs on each of us? Should we start
Yes.
with that? All right,
Sure.
Nikki, tell us what a metal monkey is like.
What a metal monkey. Doesn't it sound like I like to work in a garage or something?
Uh-huh.
I don't. Maybe I do. I don't know really what that would entail. Let me get. So what happens to when a what happens when a metal monkey moves through a fire horse here? It sounds dangerous, frankly. Okay, so the metal monkey. Metal gives me precision, discipline, a strong sense of justice, sharper edges, and determination and persistence. But the monkey is clever, fast thinking, strategic, playful, and ambitious. So the metal monkey is the most focused, ambitious, and intentional of all monkeys. A brilliant, this is ChatGPT, this is not me, a brilliant problem solver, but also more serious and assertive than other monkey types. Someone who wants results, not just fun, who likes long
Ooh.
walks on the beach. Mhm.
And 6'3" men.
6'3" men.
Do you
Do you
agree
feel
with yours?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
I think so. I feel like in 2025, I was or we are recording this in 2025 still. By the time it's released, it will not be. But I feel like in 2025, I was a little bit off my game and just kind of confused. But yeah, I would say focused and ambitious and intentional, definitely assertive. Yeah, I want results and I want fun. I want to get shit done. Like I want shit to happen and I want to get it done. So I think so. Hmm. But it's also like monkeys are also like playful and kind of goofy. And I do think, I mean, you guys do know me, so I can
Yeah.
be a little bit unfocused and a little bit too playful and goofy sometimes. So, hmm
I
I would
didn't
say
know much about the Chinese zodiac, but when you sent yours over text yesterday,
that.
it said mental monkey. And I was like, wait,
Mhm.
she's a mental monkey? Like, what does this mean? You know, and I just had this picture in my head about what it was. And then I was like, oh, metal monkey. I see. I see.
Sometimes I am a mental monkey.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a metal rooster, which I didn't know what that meant. But basically, according to GPT, it means metal roosters are precision oriented. They have a strong sense of identity. They're naturally honest and direct, have high personal standards, refined aesthetic sense,
Mm-hmm.
self-reliant, natural leaders, especially by example, emotionally contained, sharp intuition and logic, growth through refinement. I think I agree with all of that except for precision oriented. It says, I notice everything, details others miss, inconsistencies, inefficiencies, subtle shifts in tone or behavior. Well, I always say that. I can pick up on subtle shifts in tone or behavior, but I say I'm more of a bigger picture person instead of like a detailed person. So I don't know. But other than that, I think I kind of believe most of it.
Hmm. I guess, but also when you say metal rooster, it makes me think of like the weather vanes on
Yes.
like,
I was like,
aren't those metal
please.
roosters?
Yeah, they are. Like, do
Yeah.
not give ever gift me something like that. I will
No,
never put that on display. Like they're, you know.
no.
Anyway, but I am so that's a metal rooster, and I'm excited for us to talk about our signs going into a fire horse year because I am so excited about my sign. But I want to hear
Mhm.
about what characteristics you are, Karina. What is it?
So
Earth,
I'm an earth sheep,
earth
sometimes
sheep.
called the earth ram or the earth goat. Like it could be any of
Hmm.
those three things. But their whole thing is this earth year and earth sign. It's the most grounded, stable, and nurturing version of all the sheep types. The core personality is steady, calm, emotionally centered, practical and responsible, deeply loyal and warm, protective of family and community, values stability, beauty, and harmony, thinks before acting, strong intuition, but uses logic to guide decisions. Earth
Hmm.
sheep individuals express the classic sheep's creativity and sensitivity, but with more structure, resilience, and strategic thinking than other sheep elements. And the big strengths are nurturing leadership, creative vision, a diplomat, dependable, measured decision making, and empathetic intuition. My big challenges when unbalanced are may feel over responsible for others, can take on too much emotional weight, hesitates to put your needs first. Perfectionism in creative and personal projects can become stuck when decisions feel overwhelming and might avoid conflict even when it's necessary, which is totally true. Remember in our last one, like a few, well, okay, it was at the beginning. I was like, oh, I avoid conflict. I was like, yep, conflict avoidant, like as long
Yeah.
as possible.
Yours is like spot on to the T, I feel
Hmm.
like. That's
I felt that way
remarkable.
even when I was little. Like, because we would go to the Jade Dragon restaurant to have dinner once in a while with my family, and they always had the Chinese zodiacs right in front of it, and I was like, I always resoundingly felt like a sheep. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Pretty cool. The thing that people don't pay attention to, if you have a birthday in January, you need to pay attention to it because depending on the year you were born, you might be the previous year, not the current year. So like February
Mm.
17th is when the fire horse begins. And so my husband, I can't remember what he thought he was, but for lots of years I think he thought he was the snake. And but he's born January. And so once he went and looked up the zodiac, he was like, "Wait, I'm not a snake, I'm a dragon." And he was like, "That fits way better." And I was just like, now granted, I don't know if anyone believes any of this stuff, but I think it's fun. It's just
Hmm.
more of a fun thing than
Hmm.
anything else.
Well, I definitely want to believe in it after learning more about the fire horse year. Like, I want to hear, did you guys look up your Chinese zodiac and what it means for the new year coming up? I want to hear that.
Yes.
Ooh, Nick, why don't you start us off? Because you're the one who started this whole thing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, technically, I think actually you mentioned it on a Marco Polo, and then I was like, hey, you know what will help us out with this? Our good buddy Al. Okay, so high level, what happens when a metal monkey moves through a fire horse year? The monkey's cleverness and fire horse momentum equals innovation, fast decision making, and breakthrough thinking, but also overcommitment, burnout risk, and impatience with slow people. I have impatience with slow people anyway. But so metal wants structure, monkey wants games and strategy. So true. Fire horse brings chaos and speed. So everybody, fire horse, that's all of us experiencing that. This creates a year of rapid growth, forced adaptability, new opportunities that require quick action, and challenges that can sharpen the monkey's skills. So in a nutshell, like this, it's a period of for the metal monkey. Excuse me, a metal monkey in a fire horse year is a powerhouse of strategy and speed. It's a period of big opportunities, self-discovery, accelerated progress, and intense transformation. And it favors the monkey's natural talents so long as they stay grounded and don't let the fire horse's wild energy pull them into chaos.
I think this is going to be an interesting year because it already feels like it's going to be a fire horse year with all the AI stuff going on, with no one kind of knowing what's going on with the economy. It just feels like there's a lot of fiery, crazy, chaotic things happening right now, no matter what. So, I mean, feels spot on.
Mhm. And it's also, I mean, it's what's going on with me, it's going to be a crazy year up in the air as I travel all over with no like real base, and then kind of keep my current business going and add a new element to it or new brand and all that stuff. So it makes a lot of sense to me. Way to go, ChatGPT. Way to go.
How do you feel overall reading about the upcoming fire horse year?
I feel good. I am really craving some change. I'm really craving some new direction. Well, actually, that's not true. Craving change, but I feel like I've started with the change. So now I'm really, really craving knowing what that next step is going to be. Like, all right, where am I going? Now is not a time for me to take these steps because first of all, it's a holiday season, it's Christmas and all that kind of stuff. But, and my mom's still recovering and all this stuff, but, I am dying to know what the next steps to move forward are and like where I'm going to go and all this. It's like we've said before, it's very much an exercise for me in like, okay, let's see where everything takes me. And that
Hmm.
is a challenge for this particular mental metal monkey.
I like that it said breakthrough thinking. That
Yes.
sounded exciting.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think it seems really exciting too. But I liked the warning of making sure that you didn't get caught up in the chaos
Hmm.
because it could get really chaotic if you're not careful.
Hmm. Hmm.
That
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah.
Natalie, how about yours?
Oh, I'm so excited for mine. Okay. 2026 is not about breaking you. It's about burning off what no longer fits your next identity. If something
Mm.
survives the heat of the fire horse year, it's meant to stay. If it doesn't, it was already obsolete. So, a
Mm.
couple of major things. Number one, it says you will not be able to hide. Fire horse years are about visibility, honesty, being seen, being known, being chosen, or choosing. So, if you've been holding back your voice, downplaying your power, waiting to be ready, managing perception, that becomes impossible. The other thing is control versus freedom is going to become a theme. Metal roosters like structure, certainty, standards, well-defined lanes. Fire horses demand movement, autonomy, risk, authenticity, freedom. So in 2026, I will feel tension between what feels correct and what feels alive. And this upcoming year will reward choosing aliveness over perfection. Number three, my standards rise, my tolerance drops. I will see through people faster. Misalignment becomes intolerable. Emotional half measures stop working. Excuses lose their power. I become less patient with anything that doesn't match my values, pace, or future self. Number four says this is a big one, identity refinement. Metal roosters care deeply about who they are. Fire horse years ask, is this identity still true or just familiar? So expect to shed old labels, redefining success, changing how you present yourself, evolving your role, especially publicly, and a clearer, this is who I am now moment. And visibility brings rewards, but only if you step forward. It's going to reward courage, not caution. And then it says relationships get very honest. Fire strips illusion, metal values truth. So in relationships, emotional clarity increases, attraction becomes more electric or dissolves quickly. Dynamics that rely on avoidance stop working. I'll deepen into something real and alive, or I'll clearly outgrow what no longer fits. Mm,
That is so good,
it's
Natalie.
so freaking good.
It
I
is.
feel so basically one central question, who are you willing to be when you stop polishing and start living? It's all about identity forge, visibility accelerator, truth telling year, a leadership year, a turning point year. I feel very good about my upcoming year.
What I think is so interesting is that so much of that is stuff that you have already started moving
Yes.
into. Like you started
Yeah.
moving in that direction. So I
Yeah,
mean, it just makes so much sense.
Well,
for
that's
sure.
maybe why it's like a snake year into a fiery horse year. Like you're shedding things and then
Yeah.
the movement happens in the fire horse year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm very much resonating with a more visibility year, a year of like stepping into a new identity with the book coming out. I feel like everything is about to, I feel like by October of next year, my life changes in big ways.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
kind
Mhm.
of crazy. Okay, well, mine's not exciting, guys. Mine's actually, it's also right on, but not exciting.
I was going to say, because you have not been anticipating that this would be an exciting year.
No, I didn't. But then when the Zodiac confirmed it, I was like, dang it, it's
Wah,
real.
wah.
I know it's
All
real.
right, tell us about it.
Well, the biggest issue is earth versus fire. So like an earth versus fire situation is never good. But then so the whole deal is it creates a lot of tension. So whenever there's a fire year and you're an earth or vice versa, it's problematic. So 2026 will be a fire horse year, which tends to be fiery, fast moving, unpredictable, innovative, and intense. So that energy interaction is a big deal. So fire wants speed, risk, and bold change. Earth wants stability, clarity, and long-term structure, meaning this year pushes you out of your comfort zone. You may be forced into a faster decision cycle than you prefer, which is funny because I'm a really good, fast
Hmm.
decision maker, but
Yes, you are. When you sent that thread, when I saw that in yours, I was like, that's very interesting because
yeah.
you have no problem making a decision
But
quickly.
but it's interesting because I'm really good at small decisions, but the big ones actually take me a while. And I mentioned this on Marco Polo. I don't think you guys have gotten to it yet. But when I made the decision to start Design Suite, I actually for 14 months tested the idea in several small ways before I committed to it. So I'll do a lot of small testing. The university was the same thing. Someone had given me the idea for the university, I think 2 years before I actually did the university, because I didn't feel like it was the right time. Things were still going so well. I mean, still things are going well in Design Suite, but like really, really well to the point where I was like growing it so much that I really didn't have time to focus on the university. So I actually ruminated on the idea for at least a year, maybe 2 years before I actually went to my first like meeting. So I went to accreditation bureau meeting to just see what it was all about. And by going to that, it solidified in my mind. And the moment I decided, like I went to that and I got confirmation from that, within the month we had started the entity. So it seems like I do things really fast, but usually it's because I have it brewing underneath for a long time as I'm like trying to make sure I do it at the right time. But little decisions like starting a new program, like to me, if the big entity has been chosen, like I feel great about creating lots and lots of things that people might consider being big, but to me they're little compared to like the big stuff. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think this design thing is, I mean, this decision thing is interesting. You also have the ability to turn chaos into something beautifully structured, it says. So think rapid growth followed by intentional design. I mean, it clearly knows me.
Mhm.
Two, there's a personality clash here as well on top of the fire and earth thing, sheep versus horse. So sheep energy is gentle, intuitive, and harmonious. Horse energy is wild, fiery, restless, and independent. So in a fire horse year, you may feel overstimulated or pressured, but also highly inspired and creatively awakened. So it can be one of your biggest expansion years if you direct the fire rather than absorb it. It's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Opportunity forecast is number three. It says creative breakthroughs. The pace forces innovation. This is an extraordinary year for design, artistic pivots, academic launches, or new business initiatives. And truthfully, I've already seen that happen because it took me a second. I knew we were going to do one new program. Granted, it takes us a couple of years to actually implement it, but we have to start it a couple of years ahead of time. And I made the hard decision that instead of waiting 6 years for this particular thing, we were just going to go ahead and do it. So like we're kind of building everything behind the scenes where most people can't see it. And I think that's happening here. There's a leadership push. You may find yourself stepping into roles you didn't intend but are ready for. And Firehorse accelerates visibility. Your work may attract far more attention faster. This is a
Good.
strong year for reinvention, and this is real. Rebranding, launching programs, expanding audience, building new structures. And with this big switch over from design suite to university, that feels really real. Like this is a real
Hmm.
reinvention year.
Hmm.
Mhm. So a lot of reinvention all around.
Yeah.
It's true.
It sounds like we all resonate with our predictions
Hmm.
for the year.
Yeah. Mine's pretty close. It doesn't make me feel good though. I like Natalie's made her feel good. Mine feels like
Hmm.
a little bit of dread. I should be excited for all the new creative breakthroughs, but like I think the feeling of having to reinvent, which has
Yeah.
already been happening,
Hmm.
is it feels hard.
Well,
Well, I
no, go
would
ahead.
say though, like I am very excited about my year, but it's also how I'm thinking about it because there are things in here that's basically like, hey, like your relationships, it's about to get clear. Like you know what I mean? And you're gonna have to reinvent yourself and you're gonna have to choose to be more visible versus hide, so like if I think there is a way for me to feel pretty hesitant or scared about this upcoming year, but I'm just trying to step into it. Like I realize I've already, like you guys have mentioned, like I've started to make some pretty big changes in my life, and I feel like I'm at the point where I need to like just jump in the ocean and like just go all in and might as well have a good attitude about it because if not, I'm going to have a lot of trepidation and fear and anxiety about how it's all going to work out. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's exciting because I'm saying it's exciting, but if I look at the words a little bit closer, like, you become less patient with anything that doesn't match your values, pace, or future self. This applies to
Love
business
that for you.
partnership, environments, relationships. I'm like, like my life is about to change in big ways, and I'm a little bit scared about it, but I'm way more excited. But it just sounds like for you, maybe it's more, building a university is it's such the big thing that it's almost more of like a drudge. Like you just know we've got to get through it. And I feel like so this applies to you too, Nikki. Metal, anything, going
Mhm.
into a fire, anything, means the fire melts the metal and can mold into whatever you want. Like that's the most exciting thing for me is like we can shape whatever we want it to be. And so that's what I'm
Mhm.
going to really try to do.
Which
That's
makes
cool.
sense to me because I'm not in a total building year. I mean, like I am in a building year. I shouldn't say that. I'm not in like a reinvention where I'm like melting everything down. I know exactly what's going to happen, right? But we've
Mhm.
got to be innovative in the way that we're building all of this stuff. I also just think if I think it just feels really long. My daughter is she has just put in her papers to go on an LDS mission, and she's hoping to leave in May. And it's just ironic because she'll be gone for 18 months. And I did the math on it and I was just like, like based on that, we might have passed like our first or second milestone by the time you get back. Like it's going to take that long, like 2 more years. And I was just like, that's crazy that like for her, that's going to feel like a lifetime. For me, it's like, I'm just like trying to like get through until I can get to these bigger milestones. So that I think it's feeling a little bit like doable. Everything feels really doable, but it just feels like a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I think actually yours sounds to me kind of like Natalie's does, where it's you've already started doing all of that stuff,
Hmm.
which makes sense, right? It's not like February 17th is going to hit and all of a sudden it's going to be like, time for transformation. Time for this.
Mhm.
Um, but it's stuff that you have kind of laid the groundwork for already, that you're in the process of making happen. So it's not like it's a surprise that it would be a year of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Technical term,
I
all of that
think I
stuff.
could look at it as exciting, except for I know the financial repercussions as well of what I'm doing. And, a lot of I think someone on the internet, one of my team members sent something over to me that they had found saying, "Oh, Carina is just making a play for money with this university thing." And I was like, "Man, if you had any idea."
Also, it's a
Is there
business.
something wrong with that?
You're supposed to be making a play for money in a business.
It's true, right? But like,
Otherwise,
but
you don't have a business. You
Yeah.
have a bankruptcy or a charity.
Like
it's so
nobody accuses Apple of making a play for money when they launch a new iPhone. Like what are you
Okay,
what are you even saying?
so we are getting into something. Oh, Karina, did you send it? Like how people can support big businesses and strangers online more than they can support people they know
Yes.
because it's a little bit hits more close to home. The idea that somebody who knows you would be like, that's a play for money, but then, Tesla or Apple or what Google, they would never say
No
that. It's like they
problem.
bring down the people who are closest to them. We could go on about that, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
super
Oh,
fascinating.
absolutely. And the people who email us asking for discounts or asking for like, you would never go to your cable company and ask for it. Well, okay, maybe, but like you wouldn't go to Apple and be like, so can I get this for half off? Can I get a scholarship for
yeah.
this? Can I get like what?
And I was thinking about something. I didn't think it really impacted me, but I was thinking about it as I was getting ready today. So I'm like, oh, it sunk in a little bit. We had a team meeting today, and I love all my members. I love my program. I love it all. But during one of the support rooms earlier this week, Jenna was moderating, and this was like our VIP support group. People have been in for a while, and they were saying how I used to be so much more involved and present. Like
Mhm.
I would be in the groups, right, in the past, and
Mhm.
now I'm not. And I'm just thinking, yeah, now we have like 8 hours of live stuff every single week, and in the past, all we had was one live hour. So that was me. But guess what? I've already applied my one live hour. I just got done doing a Q&A. So it's like as the program grows and we add more, and so we add more different people to do them, and it's not me. It's starting to feel like, oh, they don't get me. I'm like, but you get me even more now than you did
Mhm.
before. It's just that we're having so many more offerings. So just the way people perceive things and see things, it's like it feels like it's never enough. Or
Well, but also like they bought your program. They didn't buy you, right? I
yeah,
find that very, and I've stepped back a bit from our coaching calls. I still do a couple a year, but also because more coaches means that now we do we didn't used to do 2 calls a month. We do 2 calls a month. We do, and then you also get
that's
the
double
experience.
expenses.
Exactly. You get the experience of the all of these different coaches and the insight of all of these different, not just me. And granted, I'm fortunate in that really only like one person ever wrote in or said something about like, oh, it's too bad as these companies get bigger that you get less time. Like, no, this is a benefit for you. And it's also a
Yeah.
benefit for the company as a whole, because then I can be focusing on bigger stuff. But it kills me. It's like you didn't purchase me. You don't own my time. And I'm very fortunate in that all of our students, like the vast majority of our students get that. We have amazing students, and I know you do too, Natalie, and Karina, you do too. But like it's those little like, no, you don't. You don't own
Yeah.
You know
me.
what's ironic about that? Especially, I think this is why I am very excited about the university, is people do not expect that from a university. They expect different faculty members, right?
Mm,
So I don't teach all the courses. I do teach the upperclassmen. Like if you're working on your capstone, you're probably going to get me. If you're working on your accumulating studio project, you're going to get me. If you're going to get like the higher end classes, you're probably going to get me. But you expect to get different faculty members because it gives you a better general education. Like,
Mhm.
it does it because you're getting lots of different perspectives. And by doing so, you're going to be able to build whatever you're trying to build a lot better. And so people understand that in a university structure, but they don't understand it in the online space. It is
well,
very
is it
bizarre.
because for all of our programs in the online space, we are our brand? In the university, you're not technically like the brand, it's the university. So I think it's how you set it up that way. But how
Which
did you
I'm excited about because I have a personal brand, and definitely it is in alignment with the university, but universities live on past founders. They
yeah,
do. They live a long time past founders. I don't even freaking know who the founder of Harvard is, but like
right.
it lives a long time past it. And so you can't build a personal brand that is just in a like total and complete like this is the university, it's the Karina Gardner show. The hope is, truthfully, I probably these people who are coming to these early classes, they get me. There will be some point will you probably never get me as a professor because I'm spending so much time training faculty to
Mhm.
teach what we're trying to teach.
Mhm.
So how did you respond if you did at all to that comment? And did you know the person who made that comment?
I did not know the person and I didn't respond because it turns out it was in a private forum. But whoever let it go, it was fine. One of my students responded instead.
Don't you
But
love
I didn't
that when
say anything
students like
because to
step up and
me,
say something? I love that.
I
Me
know
too.
my students and my members are amazing because they do step up and they tell the truth about what's really going on. I think it's really easy on the outside to just think people are just making money,
Right.
like, and I'm just like, do you know the requirements for a university? Because I pay for things you have no idea for. Department of Ed requires us to own physical space in the state of Utah that I pay for that no one even goes to. I'm required to have, most people don't realize this. In order for someone to teach you, they must have a degree of the same or higher to teach you. So that means that we have a librarian on staff, we have a registrar on staff. They have to have the correct credentials. They both have to have an MLS. I forget what the registrar has to have. I have it in my documentation, but every faculty member who teaches must be above board. It's what allowed me to do the university because I have a PhD in design and there's so few of us. But yeah, it's not what everybody thinks it is. It just isn't.
I feel like that's true for all kinds of businesses. I think even for us
Mhm.
online, it's easy for people to think, oh, every dollar they get or we paid, we get. I'm like, first of all, Stripe is taking its fee, right? Like we don't even get all of that. And then just all of the cost of software and just payroll and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, it doesn't just come to just doesn't come to us.
Well,
I
the
know.
cost to get people on your list who will absolutely never purchase. You
Oh my
have
gosh.
a
But we
massive list of
pay
email
to
and
have the email address that they still want
Mhm.
to get our
Yeah,
information and learning.
yeah,
And we pay for that. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Anyway, we got off of the tangent. I was gonna end, I don't know, this is probably getting too long. Maybe we can do it for the next one, but I wanted to hear about your New Year's Eve plans. Like we were talking about the new year. How do you plan to bring in the new year? Do you have a
Let's do
tradition or
that in the next one. So you
okay.
guys can like tune
tune in
in.
to hear how depressing my New Year's is going to
Oh wait, it
be.
can't be as depressing as mine.
I don't
But
have any
Okay,
plans whatsoever,
really.
but I think we should talk about word of the year because I think that would be
oh,
really fun.
right now or next
Well,
episode?
no, in the next episode.
Okay,
So,
let's do
Oh,
that.
it's a cliffhanger, our first ever cliffhanger.
Ooh.
all right, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.